The majority of the lake and all of our reservoirs really that have been around for any number of years, 30, 40, 50 years, they all have the same issue. There's very little structure. You have some patches of still standing timber out there, but every year they're getting less and less. So Old Hickory Reservoir out away from the shore, it's basically a barren desert. We're trying to change that barren desert landscape into something that's more productive for anglers. Big habitat program on Old Hickory Reservoir, funded by Bass Pro Shops through a grant. A couple years ago, Bass Pro started this new trail. It's like an open type series, and all the proceeds go to fund conservation projects around the country in reservoirs to specifically benefit fish habitat. And so we were fortunate enough to receive one of these grants. The project that we're doing on Old Hickory Reservoir involves putting in 32 new fish habitat sites, and it's going to be a mix of rock sites and also some artificial sites. We've got 3 main habitat types that we're going to do. So one of the structures that we put out was what we call spider fish attractors, and those are basically a 12-inch concrete block. You fill it with concrete and then 4 corrugated pipe tubes that are about 6 feet long each, 4 inches in diameter. So the jacks that we built were basically, they got their name because they resemble a toy jack. And they're different from the spiders that we put out in that they're a little bit smaller, they're more rigid, obviously built out of PVC. They offered a spot for bigger fish to come and hide because of the way that they're shaped. One that we're really excited about that we're trying out is called we're calling it the Tennessee Tower. All these other states have different habitat structures named after them, so we thought, you know, why not us? And so the towers are 10 feet tall by 10 feet wide, and they've got about a 1,000-pound block of concrete on the bottom to hold them down on the ground so they stand straight up, just like an artificial tree. And because they're made out of the corrugated pipe, they'll be there for forever. The rock that we placed in Old Hickory, we put about 1,300 tons of large 2 to 4 foot diameter rock into Old Hickory. We're trying to go with some more permanent structures with some of the artificial things we're doing, and also the rock. Those things are going to be around for years and years and years to come, and they'll outlive us for sure. So that gives us an opportunity to go to more areas of the lake rather than just replenishing just a couple of different areas for anglers to fish.
Sometimes we get help. We'll have the local fish teams from the high school will come out and help us.
They were a great help. They put together the jacks and spiders, and when you have a lot of hands, this stuff, it makes it a lot more manageable. Challenges, I guess logistically, we were making some really heavy stuff, so these towers have a 1,000-pound concrete base. The spider structures, once you put concrete in them, each one weighs about 80 pounds. So trying to maneuver that stuff safely and efficiently was I guess a problem we had to overcome.
We constantly are trying to improve and make it easier and safer, the things we do.
Initially, we were loading each individual fish attractor on a 18-foot trailer, and in the process, we've started putting them on pallets and loading them with tractors, and we've streamlined the process. Putting them on pallets was a big deal, and then one of the other guys on the crew came up with using a roller rack to transport from the pallets via the roller rack onto the boat, which made the job a lot easier.
One of the biggest challenges to the project was how do you get each of these boulder rocks out there in the middle of the lake. So we used a company from Iowa, they were called Weavers Incorporated, and they had this large, what we called a barge, so that you're able to load about 14 tons of rock in each load. That's the way that we got it out there, was just grabbing big rocks with a big excavator and putting it on the barge, and then the barge would slowly go out and push it off the boat. tried to position it right up here on this peninsula in between the main creek channel and kind of a secondary channel.
We'll drive the boat over using our sonar, and we'll try to go directly over them, and you can look down at the sonar and you'll see just fish speckled all around. And so that's probably one of the more satisfying things, is actually seeing the images of the fish using these structures.
Spiders are right here, so it does look like there's fish on it, even though I missed it just a little bit. These are probably the jacks right there. You can kind of see. You have a lake or a reservoir that is largely devoid of good structural habitat. Anything you put in there, the fish are going to key in on. We've got it kind of on that slope right there, and then you can see all the fish around that one.
We chose to put them in depths that can be fished year-round. In the reservoirs here in Tennessee, in the summertime, the water will stratify where you get layers of oxygenated water, and then below a certain depth, they are anoxic or without oxygen in the summer. And so we were careful with our site choices.
So you can see we try to, in this little side channel, we've got one that's on the edge of the side channel, two of them right there. There's one there, and then in the far background, there's another tower right there. But then we put one down in there as well. So different times of the year, different temperatures, dissolved oxygens, fish can go kind of where they want to go. Looks like right now they clearly want this one. Where they're supposed to be. Look like they got a whole bunch of fish on them right there. You can see the triangle right there. You can see that triangle of how we try to put them in there. That's a really good example of how we're trying to situate these things so that these arms are just about touching. Each reef is getting about 10 loads. There's the rocks right there, running right over them. You can see they come up a couple feet. With the big rock, you can get bigger interstitial spaces for any type of fish species to go and to swim in. They can, catfish will get in there and spawn. You'll have prey fish like bluegill and minnows, things like that that'll get in there. And so that was really exciting to be able to do something big like that.
Yeah, growing up, I loved fishing, so I'm fortunate to be in this field, and every day your goal kind of is just to do something to make fishing better, to help people have a more enjoyable experience out on the water.